defamation of I guess it's a win, right? Is that how we call it? It's a win. So behind the camera is a good friend. His name is Jose, and he is going to be our cameraman. And he does not speak Hebrew, but he is going to interview me about this wonderful win. As I say before, win. Just like Trump says, we're gonna win, win, win until you get sick and tired of it. So Jose was a part of the studio audience yesterday in the case where the judge William Thompson, I think that's his name, William Thompson, yes. Very smart guy, took a few seconds to figure out what was going on, but when he figured it out, he was all over the plaintiff's ass, and taught them a thing or two about procedure and order of lawsuits. So Jose, what did you think about the case yesterday? Well, Jose can't see, so you can ask me.
Well,
okay, Jose doesn't know how to talk. Anyway,
yeah, no,
so the situation was the following, okay? A gentleman by the name of Akiva glickman decided that America, i.e. Miami, Florida, is a place where the court will decide and take jurisdiction over a matter that happened in Israel, where all the witnesses are Israel and his damages are in Israel, because of course there he lives with his naive wife, I guess we'll call her, and he decided to sue me here. So in order to intimidate, this is what I believe, and also the documents will prove it, he hired an attorney from Hollywood, Florida, not Hollywood, California, although he probably could have gone to California in the same way. And he found Eric J. Miller. I do not know, you know, you look on his website, you really can't tell about his legal prowess or accomplishments. He touts himself as being a very experienced attorney, which makes you wonder why he actually took the case. In any event, so Eric J. Miller sends out some letters that I did not receive because I was out of town, and some dum-dum threw the mail away, not realizing that it was important stuff, evidently. He contacts my attorney, Richard Burton, and he tells him about this pending lawsuit for $10 million. $10 million, lo pachot velo yoter. And he's saying that Mr. Dubitsky has to pay his client $10 million because of a defamatory posts he did on Facebook and on, well, actually he never said WhatsApp because it was on YouTube. And he wants $10 million, and he wants an order from the court to, oh my God, what was that word called again? Oh, Jesus. What was that? He wants another word. I keep on forgetting it. He wants a court order saying
prior restraint.
He wants a court order which is actually prior restraint, which says that I can never call his client for what I think he is. So we're not going to go into the details right now, but I will tell you the evidence that we have and why the court in the end sent them back home. So he wanted a prior restraint order, which under Florida law, and actually I don't think anywhere in the United States you can get an order for prior restraint, because that's actually a violation of the First Amendment. I want to, and then he cannot say A, B, C, and D. Now in Israel, this is acceptable. We can actually go to jail if you don't follow a court order, if you live in Israel, of course. But Israel courts don't have authority over somebody living in Miami or any place out of the little borders of Israel. So he wanted $10 million. He wanted a prior restraint order against me. And he didn't explain to the court why he has, why the jurisdiction is in Florida. Now, usually when you have an international case about things that happen in Israel, where the plaintiff's in Israel and the defendant is in Miami, then it would behoove yourself, at least when you go to court, if the judge reads it, to explain why you think this should be in Miami. It's not enough that the defendant lives in Miami. You have to explain what's called the nexus or the connectivity to weave everything together. When it's two parts like this, then you have to weigh there's a test. It's called the Kinsey test, yeah. Where the court decides based upon a whole bunch of factors if it should be in Florida or in Israel. So, Eric J. Miller from Hollywood prepares the complaint. He files it. I respond to it. I hire an attorney. I pay him a lot of money because I know that there's no defamation here, and I have proof saying that anything that I said on the Facebook page, and then it was also on an original TV broadcast, was correct. Now you have to understand, I never mentioned Akiva's name, the plaintiff's name. Never mentioned his name it wasn't mentioned by the original broadcaster, and it wasn't even mentioned in the post. It was a general thing about warning parents to be careful where they send their kids to the summer camp, because summer camps, you do not need any special permission to open a summer camp. Anybody can open a summer camp. You take them to the local playground and you tell the parents, drop them over for 2 or 3 hours a day, and we'll let them play with turtles and snails and dogs and everything, and that's the summer camp, and we'll set up a little bonfire and roast marshmallows. You don't need a license for that. Jose, do you understand what I'm saying here now?
I understand.
Very good. Okay.
Someone's trying to forward a question to you. Is it Trump derangement syndrome?
It's Avi Dubitsky derangement syndrome, probably, but not Trump derangement syndrome. In any event, so we file a response, and we tell the court, listen, you know, obviously if he was defamed, it's a very sad story if it were true, but this is not the proper venue, jurisdiction for this case. This case has to be heard in Israel. All the material is in Hebrew. The damage that he claims caused because his neighbors in wherever he's living now might hear it or see it. He also post that one of his neighbors made. I'm not responsible for some Tanya Goldschmidt's post. It's her. Go sue her. But of course, I'm responsible for everything, for all of his troubles. Instead of looking in the mirror and trying to figure out, maybe he did this because I have a phone call of his doing this. And I have a video of him coming to meet the same person that he spoke to, which was an underage kid. In any event, we go back to the court case, right? So after my attorney files a response, and there was a little bit argument about the service of process, which is redundant at this point, his attorney files what's called the 57105 or 57104, which basically says you have to do your homework before you continue this case. If you don't, I will ask the court to hold you responsible for my expenses. Usually attorneys do that when the things are very flagrant and obvious. So in response to that, of course, we file, I think, something back after this Eric J. Miller decides to quit the case. Why does he quit the case? I don't know. I think it was because he got a press request asking him to respond to the allegations of having a video of Akiva Glickman coming to meet what he thought was a minor, and a phone recording, a very nice long 7 or 8 minute phone recording of Akiva speaking to this child, who he thought it was a child, telling him about A, B, C, and D. Now, he was not talking about dog training or how to get a license as a circus instructor or how to figure out if A squared plus B squared equals C squared. This was a very specific conversation about interaction between an adult and a minor and things that could ensue out of the possible success of a date. So Eric J. Miller probably figured out at some point that something was wrong, and he decides to withdraw because, I don't know, his mother is sick or whatever the reason he gave was. He didn't go into too many details. He probably smelled that something was not going to go his way. So he quit the case, and of course, who comes in? Shlomo Nitzachon, Nitzachon, by the way, in Hebrew means winner. Now, I used to call Gutzi loser, but I think it should be Shlomo Mafsidan, because Shlomo took the case with Daniel Saltzman, and they were representing all these sketchy people here in Miami. And they come into the shoes, and then Mr. Saltzman, like a week before the hearing, filed some ridiculous things about motion to strike and blah, blah, blah. And of course, there wasn't even any hearing about that. And yesterday we have a hearing with Judge Thompson, very smart guy. And the highlights were basically, it was like one of those things where we start good, suddenly the judge takes control and he gets upset and he says, wait, was there defamation? And then he realizes that, oh, they have a witness that's in Israel that spoke to Akiva glickman, and this witness needs to testify as to a call that was made and recorded, which is basically Akiva's Achilles heel, meaning that in defamation lawsuits, the truth is an absolute defense. Now, in America, it's an absolute defense. In Israel, you can be telling 100% truth and still be sued and maybe liable for defamation. So, America, of course, is not like that because of what happened during the revolution, where people were saying things about the king, and the king getting upset and sending them to jail or cutting their head off, even though it was an expression of free speech, okay? And in America, there's this thing called public concern. And public concern in America, one of the things is, you know, community safety, child safety. So I was speaking about something that had to do with public concern, but we didn't even have to go there. Attorney Saltzman, first, my attorney, Richard J. Burton, wonderful guy, did an amazing job, explained why the jurisdiction obviously belongs in Israel. One of the claims that the judge did not accept was saying that even if a TV publisher says something which is defamatory, you don't have to sue the TV publisher if you repeated it. So he said, wait, if you repeated it, then it's defamation. But this was just a sidebar to our argument about whether it should be heard in America or in Israel. So the judge didn't go that far, but we didn't need to go that far. Then, after that was said and done, he said, wait, hold on. Does your client, and he was talking about glickman, think that he's going to sit in Israel and sue from Israel and not come to, not be deposed in Miami and not be come to trial in Miami? And he blatantly said, I don't remember the exact words, but he said basically, no, that's not going to happen, in his courtroom at least. And Saltzman was thinking that maybe Akiva is going to appear by Zoom and not even have to fly in. That wasn't going to work either. So once we got over that, we got into the nitty-gritty. And the nitty-gritty was when he finally realized that one of our arguments by witnesses is going to be the witnesses in Israel who confronted him in a to catch a predator style sting operation. And the witness who spoke to him is in Israel. The people who met up with him in the central bus station in Jerusalem, who videoed the whole thing and spoke to him and have him documented running away, are in Israel. So he realized that that we're going upon a test of weighing the pros and cons of where it should be heard. So he realized that we're starting to lean into the Israel aspect and why the witnesses are there. And then Saltzman, the genius, said, well, wait, we can get people, maybe they'll be willing to testify, and who knows, and maybe we'll use the Hague Convention and we'll force them to come. And the judge says to them, there's no such thing in the Hague Convention to force people to come from Israel to Miami. What's he gonna do? They're like they did in Eichmann in Argentina, where they capture him, throw him in a diplomatic bag, and bring him to testify? No, it doesn't work that way. Yes. So we are at the point where then Saltzman just doesn't know what to do. And he says, I agree with you, Your Honor. So basically that was the end of that once he agreed with him. And then he says, oh, now the problem is that we have a problem enforcing the judgments. And he says, you know what? That's not my problem. If you have a court, and he says, I don't know if Israel has jurisdiction over him. He says, well, you said it. You sued him and you have judgment. So obviously they can handle the case. They can hear the case. So the judge dismissed it after 47 minutes and 58 seconds. And now Akiva is going to be sued for a slap suit. What is a slap suit? It's when you can prove to the court that he knew that he filed basically a BS lawsuit, and the attorney is probably going to be held responsible for the fees. Now, they can say that they didn't know, blah, 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 whatever. We'll see how the court's going to handle that. But Akiva now is going to get a slap suit because he knew what he did. And somehow somebody convinced him to sue over here. Maybe it was Gucci, I think so, because he was in contact with Gucci. I think Gucci set him up for this. Who knows? In any event, this is all speculation, and only Akiva knows why he spent so much money, or maybe his mommy and daddy's money, to go ahead and sue over here. But the bottom line is he was sent home back in a body bag, technically, because he cannot sue here any more again, because there was no what's called forum of non-convenience. It's not convenient to hear a case like this in Florida because everything is in Israel. There's no witnesses over here. There's nothing here. Though I'm the only witness and I'm the defendant. That's the only connection to this whole saga, is that I'm in Miami. If you want to sue me in Israel, but in the meantime, we're going to sue you over here for doing what you did. And in Israel, I have witnesses that will play the recording, and then you'll lose in Israel too, basically. But you can go ahead and try. It's fine. I have no problem with that. What I think they're building the case on, which is kind of ridiculous, is the false premise that I presented a document that was forged. Now, I sued the lady who gave the opinion, and also here, my witnesses are people in the embassy in New York, and the doctor that signed the document, he's also in New York. So the lady who gave Malka Kadosh, who gave the graphologic, whatever, mumbo jumbo, saying that anything was forged, is obviously ridiculous because I have permission from the embassy that it's not forged. So Gucci is telling everybody that I won't have to come, that I won't be given permission, but that's not going to happen again. He's not going to argue that. And if he does, he's also, by the way, he's being sued here also for peddling this thing together with the person who financed Mr. Levy. So Mr. Levy is being sued over here. Gucci is being sued over here. And we have a hearing on Tuesday, whether the court's going to give me permission to amend the complaint. I'm sure she will. There's no reason not to. And after that, Gucci's going to have to respond. Now, he thinks he's going to play with whether he gets it or not, but there's a new law in Florida permitting service to defendants in other manners rather than actually serving them if he hides underneath his bed when people are going to come look for him. So it's wonderful telling everybody this story in English. I hope this gets picked up by whoever needs to pick it up. I will be making available on my LinkedIn page the arguments that were filed in court and the court order. And as everybody says, שיהיה לכם חג שמח, בהזדמנות נעשה את זה גם גרסה בעברית. להתראות, ביי ביי. There we go. Okay.